Welcome to Comments Part 2. Now, before we get on to this video, I want to tell you something. I kind of have a bit of allergies today, so I apologize if you hear a lot of sniffing and sneezing. But let's just get on to these comments. It works the same way as the previous comments episode. If you haven't seen that, then I will recommend watching it. So let's get on to the first comment.
Okay, so last time we left off on Element Weirdo Band. So let's find the next one, which is A Band, which is a remix of Hexomino Band, but it's all A. A is the name of one of the Hexominos. So somebody said, change M's sound. I actually did. And this person said, change the sounds now, or else I'm unfollowing you. But I don't care if they unfollow me. So I said, I think you should know that I kind of don't care how many followers I have, but I'll do it anyway because I've been forgetting to change it, so thanks for reminding me. So, let's get on to the next project. Ironed Pentomino Band. My take. So, somebody said, how do people get ironed P1? And I said, based on my logic, it's not wrong, but at the same time, it is wrong. And somebody said, what do you mean, not wrong? And then this person said, bruh, don't tell me you're like band kid using your logic instead of doing your logic. That's an I&O, not an I&P. Okay, bossy guy. I said, I'm making I&P later. And somebody said, actually, I&O is you. And somebody said, I made Iron Pentomino Band fool. Actually, I am a fool, so thanks for calling me a fool, because I am a fool. Well, I'm funny. And when I think of fool, I think funny. So the next project is on this one project called Smooth Tetramino Band, and somebody said, if you're gonna give them Tetris colors, could you at least add J and Z? And I added them, and they said, thanks. Okay. Next one is Tetrabromino Band. I group, my take. So somebody said, can I use the 5-1 for my Pentabromino Band? And I said, yep. And the person said, also I meant 4-1. And here's my link to my take. Okay. Then somebody said, the one with the I hockey doesn't sound right. T-O-M-E. And somebody replied to them and said, ever heard of an opinion? And somebody said, 2-2-1-2 Penna needs fixing. And somebody said, you mean 1-1-2-1. And that's it for that project. The next comment is on Tetrabromino Band with funny faces. So, on here somebody said, funny has the most unique and creative faces ever, which is true. Let's get on to the next comment, which is on Funny Band 19. And so somebody said, I am Quincy, son of Quincy, son of Quincy, son of Quincy. And somebody else said, son of Quincy, son of Quincy. And the person said, I didn't know you knew BTD6. What is BTD6? I have no idea. And this person said, I didn't. Then the other person said, aw. So, let's get on to the next comment.
These comments take place on Heptomino Band with funny faces. But not all of the Heptominos because there's a lot. And somebody said, top 5 Heptomino, 5. And then, let's see the next project. It's Iron Triomino Band, my take. Somebody said, now make Pentomino Band your take with this. And actually I'm working on one, so Next is on Funny Band 18. So somebody said, is the rule of what character is assigned to each scene is by its keybind? And I said, yes. And the other person said, but it's random when there's no keybinds. And I said, it's actually based off the name of the sprite. And the other person said, oh. And then they said, imagine if the sprite was named A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, Y, X, Y, and Z. LOL. Okay, so let's get on to the next project. It's Funny Band 16. Somebody said, ghost. Okay, then there's a comment on Funny Band 15. Somebody said, O is on the brink of insanity and has met God, and God is no match for them. And O is like these terrified eyeballs, but they're not on the brink of insanity. They're just like this. Also, it's not O, it's the terrified eyeballs. Let's go to the next project. Funny Band 13. Somebody said, we can GL we. I have no idea what that means. And there's a comment on Funny Band 11, but Terrified Eyeballs is mad because the ghost made the weird head go away. So somebody said, the wah. And there's two comments on Tuyo Mindomino Band. Even I don't know how to pronounce that. And somebody said, what's the sound for O? And they said, never mind. Let's get on to the next comment. The next comments are on don't click the element candles and some other stuff. So if you didn't see the previous one, I had some stuff about element candles, and this is more of it. And somebody said, LOL. Then, let's see the next project. Got it. Funny Band 10. Somebody said, cool though MGL. I don't know what that stands for. Maybe it stands for not gonna lie. Then this is like the fake, this is like the bootleg, but actually not bootleg stuff. But it's Funny Band. So if you don't know, there's this whole series thing about funny bands. And there's like these, it's my characters, and they're in place of the Tetraminos. And somebody said, L had a stroke and inflated his eyes for no reason. Actually, it's Cute Man, not L. In fact, I have Cute Man right here. And there's another one of the bootlegs. And Evil Heart Man passed away, so sad. So, and I remixed it for one of my worst haters, but this was before he hated me, so of course I didn't do it on purpose. So somebody said, well, a knockoff of a knockoff, I think. Then they said, and also it wouldn't be sad if he's evil. And I said, that's what makes it kind of funny. And then the person said, blah, blah, blah. I like typing nonsenses. Or nonsense. I don't blame ya. So then there's Funny Band 6. So somebody said, what? Twice. And somebody else says, it's question mark, question mark, question mark. And the profile says, what? I don't know if that's a coincidence or not. Let's get on to the next comment. The next one is on another funny band. So, somebody said, sounds like Wee Tetramino Band. And they said, I did Wee Tetramino Band. Okay. Then, we get, oh, I accidentally clicked on one with no comments. Okay. But we got one with comments again. Somebody said, Candy Guy is coming out of a terrible mobile speaker that might give up on life. For the audio, they are not giving up on life because they have a terrible. I kind of have a terrible mobile speaker, but I'm not giving up on. I'm not just gonna kill myself because of it. The next is, so there's this thing. These Tetraminos have names, and the T Tetramino is called Teridar, I think. I have no idea how to pronounce it, so they don't really pronounce it. But I remixed it, and I turned it into the Ghost Infection, because in the funny band, the ghost is T. So, somebody said, do the cute man infection, please. And somebody said, L. Again. It's not L, it's cute man. They did it right. So let's find the next comment. Funny Band 8 has 3 comments. And somebody said, I got here in notifications. That is the worst comment ever. Please never do that again. And they said, it should be 8, not 7, because it used to be 7, but now it's 8. And somebody said, funny eye. Because it's just terrified eyeballs, but it's not called funny eye, it's called terrified eyeballs. Next, we have Scrat for real, which is part of this the Funny Guy Show series. And my dad said, I like the loading screen animation. Then we got Meta Triomino Band. And somebody said, wow. And there's, I joined it on this Terrier infection thing as well, but instead of it being the Tetraminos, it's the Hexominos. So somebody said, I have 12 notifs while on this project right now. Okay. Then we got Broken Tetris Band, which this was before I went on the wiki, so it's actually called Tetrachines, but I called it Broken Tetris. And somebody said, could somebody use these sounds for Tetris Split Band, his upcoming creation? And I said, yeah. Let's get on to the next comment. Which is on the very first Funny Band. This is one of my favorite projects. So somebody said, Candy thing is like 1 minute long, not 6.4 seconds long. And I said, it's because the Candy's song was my very first beatbox song. And they said, and make sure it only loops 2 times in the editor and loop like 1 time when exporting. If the output loops the song 4 times, remove 2. And they said, also the corrupt thing, the music is coming out of a terrible mobile speaker that might explode, is the quality of the candy and the corruption thing you made. So on the Funny Band or something. It's part 2 of Funny Band. Okay, I didn't really understand that one. The end of that one. Let's get on to the next comments. Okay. Pac-Man iOS Android 2008 Sprites Remix. And this is another mean comment. So somebody said, "Ain't no way, bro just stole his project, Skull." And I said, "Correction, I remixed it." And somebody said, "Alright, young Sheldon," skull emoji. "My name's not Sheldon, I'm Adrian." So that next is Tetra Bomino Band again remix. Well, it actually is a funny band, but I forgot to name it. Somebody said, "Not funny." And said, "I wasn't trying to make it that funny, and I don't even know what you mean. No offense." And they said, "Oh, and you are good at typing?" For some reason, everybody in the Tetramino band is terrible at typing. I don't know. They need to go. I mean, I don't have the correct typing either. I just kind of like dot around on the keys. And I almost always use autocorrect to spell my words, so I don't really have great typing. Let's get on to the next comment. The next comment is on Deco Sexamino Band, and it used to be called Tetramino Multiplication Band, but I changed it because of the comment. They said that's Deco Sexamino Band. So next comment is on shapes. I'm pretty sure it's my dad. Yeah, it is my dad. And he said, "Could you make other shapes like a pentagon, heptagon, or octagon?" And I did make some of those actually. Next one is on Titromino, blah blah blah. And somebody said, "When they die." So, what's happening with my, okay. So, next we have 2 comments on this project which doesn't have a name. I don't even remember there being any comments, but I guess there is. Oh, yeah, it's me, and I said, and I said, "Huh?" So, next. Let's see. Okay, so next is on this project called Giant Zello UFO. So, somebody said, "Can I help?" So, then there's Pac-Man Build, and I'm pretty sure the comment's me. Actually, the first comment is somebody else. They said, "Amazing," and I said, "If you don't know what a Weedle is, it's a weird type of beetle I created, and Beedled means watching a bunch of videos about beetles." Okay. The rest of these don't really have very many comments. So I guess we've kind of skipped all of the ones that had. The only ones that really got comments are the Tetraminos, which I don't really like because the Tetraminos aren't entirely me. But somebody said on this, "Don't click the pato," which is from this one show called Pocoyo, which I used to watch as a kid. I still watch it every once in a while. And somebody said, "Ha ha 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 ha." Clearly they thought it was funny, which is good because that's exactly what I want. Then we have the Cursed Cat too. So Dada said, "I like how that dark cat's head it flipping around," and I said, "The dark cat is named the Cursed Cat." Okay, then there's a comment on this project called animation. I'm pretty sure it's my dad. Yeah, they said, I like the effects you used. Then there's a comment on Munching Candy Simulator with Zoomix. And they said, I like the candy salad. Dad said that. So, there's 4 comments on this project called Chubby Adventure, which is about this one character called Chubby Guy. Somebody said, what is happening here? They said, oh, I end it now, lols. Cool project. And somebody said, recent tab, And then let's find the next project. I can't find it. Woo. Okay, I finally found one. It's on Horror Games Be Like. So, somebody said, false advertising. Check out mine. 100% my code. 100% uncredited vectors. 1,010% very scary and blah 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 percent fun. And they said, actually, this inspired me. Okay. Oh, there's no more comments on any of the projects. You might think that this video that means that this video is done now, but that's wrong. Cause there's some comments on my profile, which is where the worst comment is. But I reported it, so it's not on there anymore. But I'll just tell you when we get to it. So I said, funny, funny, fun. And somebody said, blah, blah. I like typing nonsense now. Then somebody said, I followed you because my old rules were, if you follow me, I follow you. If you unfollow me, I unfollow you. But that's not how it is anymore. But this person took advantage of it, which is very bad. I do not like that. So that's why I got rid of that rule. And somebody said, you can add to my studio. Your stuff is unrelated. Okay, you don't really have to do that. But somebody said, can you follow me? I will follow you too. And somebody said, the person that made me follow them said, sir. Then somebody said, Then this person said, dude, stop making funny man. It's another one of the main comments. And somebody said, to be fair though, his name is Funny Guy 989 for a reason. Then somebody said, the person who made me follow them said, check this contest out. Prizes await. Then he said to me, check this out. And then the worst comment, somebody said, funny bands are a stupid ripoff of polyomino bands, and it's not even funny. That's my worst hater, which is S Master. But I still check out his stuff. He also made a project saying that he didn't want me lyrics in his project. That's not nearly as bad as this one, but I got rid of the comment that I was just talking about because it was so terrible. So, wait. Oh, never mind. So, that's all of my Scratch projects. There's gonna be another part of this, which is my YouTube comments, so stay tuned for that.